Hi friends, this is the math lesson for second grade. This is Unit 4, Lesson 19. You need a pencil and page 205 in front of you. Today we will be solving comparison word problems. We worked on problems like this way back in Unit 1 in the beginning of the school year. So we will be drawing comparison bars and writing an equation based on those comparison bars. So let's use number 1 as a review of comparison bars. So if the problem says Tia has 65 stamps, Stan has 29 stamps, how many more stamps does Tia have than Stan? So when we draw comparison bars, we always have a longer box on top, a shorter box on the bottom, and a circle. So every time you do comparison bars, this is what they will start to look like. Now, before you put in any numbers, you're going to label your boxes. You're going to put whoever has more, their first initial on top, and whoever has less, their initial on the bottom. So I have to go back to my problem. I know I have Tia and Stan, and it says Tia has 65, Stan has 29. So this one's pretty straightforward on who has more. So I'm going to put a T up here and an S right there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in what I know. So anytime you have a box, that the number that goes in there is what that person actually has. Then what goes in the circle, if it's in your problem, is any number that has more or fewer connected to it. So let's take a look at our numbers. We know that Tia has 65, so there's no more or fewer. So that tells me that she has 65, so I'm going to put 65 right in her box. The next one says Stan has 29 stamps. So that tells me exactly how many Stan has. I'm going to put that in Stan's box. Now I have one missing number. So I'm going to put my question mark in here. This is what I'm trying to figure out. Now, comparison bars are very similar to a math mountain. So if I had a math mountain, draw it right here, and I had 65, 29, and a box, how would I find that missing partner? You would subtract, right? So now my equation would be 65 minus 29. Now, if you prefer the adding up method, you could also do that. Your equation would look like this. Now, as always, if you don't prefer the adding up method, then you do subtraction and vice versa. You don't have to do a specific method here. You just have to use comparison bars and write an equation. So if I were to solve my subtraction problem, I can't do 5 minus sign, so I go next door. I cross off the 6, change it to a 5, and bring back 10. 15 minus 9 is 6. 5 minus 2 is 3. And now I know my answer is 36. I'm going to go check my label. I see the words how many, and then my next word is more, and that's not just a label on its own. And the rest of my label is stamps. So more stamps. So I hope that comparison bars sound familiar to you. We're going to keep going. We're going to do the rest of this page together, and then I'll let you try some on your own on the back side. So number 2, Dora has 27 fewer grapes than Jerry. Jerry has 72 grapes. How many grapes does Dora have? So we're going to start by drawing our comparison bars. And if you want to draw your comparison bars on each of these problems, you can pause the video and do that right now because you know we have to use them for each one. So now I have Dora and I have Jerry, and I have the numbers 27 and 72. Well, I need to figure out who has more. So let's see. I know that Dora has 27 fewer grapes than Jerry. So that tells me that Dora has less than Jerry. So my D goes on the bottom, and my J goes on the top. Now, let's fill in with these numbers. I have the number 27 and I have 72. 27, it says Dora has 27 fewer. So there's that word fewer, which if you remember from over here, I told you if a number has fewer or more after it, it goes in the circle. That is the change. That's how much our numbers are going to change by. Now, it says Jerry has 72 grapes. So I know that here's Jerry's box. I know that I put exactly what Jerry has in that top box. So I'm going to put a 72 right there, which then means my question mark goes right here. And if we pretend that this is a math mountain, very similar to this one, how it looks. So I'm finding a partner. And I can do subtraction like I did here, or if you prefer, you can do the adding up method. Remember, you do what method works for you. All right, so if you are doing adding up, here is your equation. Remember that partner, that missing number has to be in the middle. So 2 minus 7, I can't do it. I go next door, I cross off the 7, change it to a 6, and bring back 10. 12 minus 7 is 5, and 6 minus 2 is 4 for an answer of 45. Now let's go find our label. So here's how many, and the next word is grapes. All right, moving on. Leela has 34 snow globes in her collection, which is 18 fewer than her friend Betty. How many snow globes does Betty have in her collection? All right, so I'm going to get my comparison bars ready. Maybe you already have yours already. And I know I have Leela and Betty, and I need to figure out which person has more to go on top. So it says Leela has 34 snow globes in her collection, which is 18 fewer than Betty. So while this one is a little more complex, we know that Leela has 18 fewer than Betty. So Betty's going to go on top, Leela's going to go on the bottom. And now I have to figure out where does 34 go and where does 18 go. Well, it says Leela has 34 snow globes. So that's exactly how many Leela has. That's going to go in her box. Then I see the number 18, and 18 is connected to fewer. So that goes in my circle. That is my change. And I'm trying to figure out how many does Betty have in her collection. Okay, so this one looks a little bit different. If I had a math mountain that was missing the top number, what would I do to solve that? I would add these two together. So that is exactly what we are going to do. So 4 plus 8 is 12. New group. I like to put mine above, but you can also put yours below. 1 plus 3 plus 1 more is a 5 for an answer of 52. Now we need to figure out what is our label. So I'm going to find how many right there. And then I know that the next words are snow globes. And that makes sense for my label. All right, friends, last problem that we are going to do together, and then you'll have the opportunity to do some on your own. One year, the Ricos planted 97 flowers. This was 29 more than the Smiths planted. How many flowers did the Smiths plant? So I'm going to draw my comparison bars. I know I have two families, the Smiths and the Ricos, so I need to figure out who has more so I can put their name on top. So it says 1 year the Ricos planted 97 flowers. That doesn't tell us anything about that. This was 29 more than the Smiths. So we know the Ricos planted 29 more than the Smiths. So I know for sure that the Ricos planted 97, so I'm going to put that in their box. And I know that 29 more is going to go in my circle. Okay, now I'm looking for a missing partner. So here's where you get to decide what is your preferred method. You can do 97 minus 29, or you can do 29 plus box equals 97 and do the adding up method. Your choice. Okay, so I'm going to do subtraction. 7 minus 9, can't do it. Cross off my 9, change it to an 8, and bring back 10. 17 minus 8 is 9, and 8 minus 2 is 6. So I get an answer of 68. Now I have to make sure I find my label. It says how many flowers. So that is our label. How many flowers? All right. Great job so far, friends. Now go ahead and flip over your paper. If you would like to solve these 4 comparison bar problems on your own, please go ahead. Remember that you need to draw comparison bars and an equation for each problem. Okay? If you're not ready to go on, then we will continue to work on these together. Before we get started, I want you to draw your comparison bars on each problem, and then we'll go ahead and work on number 5. So please pause the video and do that now.